What an honor to have the great Chazz Palminteri in studio. Unfortunately, I'm in Philly, but he is with Don and Peter. Chazz, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, you grew up in the Bronx. So did I. So I want to see where in relation that we grew up. I grew up Evergreen Avenue and Story Avenue right off Bruckner Boulevard. Yeah. Where were you?
I was 187th in Belmont Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty close. So we're true Bronxites.
Absolutely. Now you're from the Bronx. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you're a big-time Yankee fan, right?
Yes.
What do you think about the team so far?
I'm in heaven with the team. You know, I was a little, when they lost 3 straight, I was like stunned. I was walking around going, this can't be. But I don't think that's going to happen again. I love the team. The team is great. I love the young kids. The team, we're never out of it. It reminds me of the 98 Yankees when we'd be like losing 6-0 in the 7th inning, and I go, well, we're okay. We got this.
Right.
That's how I feel almost. It's crazy.
What was your favorite Yankee team?
Well, Mantle and Maris were my favorite, and then obviously the 98 with Jeter and everybody,
So the Mantle and Maris team, you were young, you were a kid.
I was a kid, yes.
And do you remember? Did you go to any games?
Yeah, my dad took me. Yeah, I went to a lot of games. Yeah.
Do you want to all feel old today? Today is Jeter's 44th birthday.
That's pretty scary. And I remember when he came up in '96 as a rookie. They didn't know if he was going to play, and here he was. He hung out and Hall of Famer.
So you're a big Mantle fan.
Yeah.
And yet you write in A Bronx Tale where Sonny tells C.
That's right.
To not care about Mickey because he doesn't care about you.
Right.
Like, was that hard to do, being a big Mickey Mantle fan? Basically talking to yourself, right?
Yes.
Because C is you as being a Yankee fan,
right?
And to be anti-Yankees.
I was devastated when Mazeroski hit that home run.
Right.
Cried. Devastated. And the wise guy said to me, wait a minute, he's not going to pay your rent, kid. And truthfully, I really still didn't get it when I was that age. As I got older, I remembered, that's why I wrote about it, because I said, you know what, he was right. Mantle's not going to pay my rent if my father can't afford it.
Right.
So take it easy. But I still live and breathe pinstripes.
You know what gets me? One of the great things in the movie A Bronx Tale, and I used it a lot when I was dating, when I was young, is that when you let a young lady in the door, in the car, whether or not she reaches over to open the latch for you.
Right.
But in the new cars, Chazz, it doesn't work. It's almost like it's obsolete.
It is a little obsolete, but sometimes the girl could at least hit the button, then lean over and kind of hit the door, grab the handle and open it for you.
It's true.
I'm telling you, if a girl does, Michael, you have no idea, guys, how many times I walk the streets and people yell, hey, Chazz, this is my wife. She passed the test.
Oh, really?
They're always saying, she passed the door test.
Now, you've had an amazing career that spans several decades at this point, and obviously A Bronx Tale's coming back to Broadway.
Yeah.
When you have a body of work like that you created and is such a part of you,
right? Do
you ever get bored of talking about it, or do you prefer when people bring up A Bronx Tale if they bring up anything?
Well, either way, I don't care. Whether they, I don't get bored by it at all, and if they bring up other movies, I don't care. That's fine. But, Bronx Tale, I am synonymous with Bronx Tale, obviously. In fact, being in the play now, the musical, I'm in the Guinness Books of Records. I'm the only guy ever to write and star in the Broadway play, the feature film, and the Broadway musical. So that was pretty cool when I did that.
Yeah. And what character are you in?
Sonny.
And now you're Sonny.
Yes.
So you switched from C to Sonny.
No,
he was Sonny in the movie.
Wait, so how in the movie you were the same?
But the kid was really him in real life.
Oh, yes. Got it. Yes. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Peter, leave the room, really.
Sorry.
No, I couldn't play C. I'm too old.
I was amazed. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, so it's a great story. It's been around, the story, people just love it. Peter, and people just love the story. They come in, they bring their kids, their families. It's a great story for young people to see, for fathers and mothers to bring their children, because it says the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And it just inspires people, inspires young people. And that's why I think it's been around forever like this.
Actually, a rap artist friend of mine from New York, Jim Jones, just named his last album
Absolute Wasted Talent.
Wasted Talent.
Yeah, I know.
Did you hear that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so interviewed him, and we asked him why, and he said, I was watching Bronx Tale for the 50th time, and I just liked that line.
Bronx Tale has been in more rap videos than any other movie.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Amazing. And whether, that's the amazing thing about Bronx Tale. Whether you're Italian, Irish, Jewish, black, it doesn't matter. Whether you're 13 or 90, it doesn't matter. People just love it. And they come to the theater, they stand up and cheer.
And what I love about the movie, and it really shows how good and well written the movie is because I thought you took a risk in having Robert De Niro in the movie for that kind of role, because he's the kind of actor that can gobble up a screen and gobble up a movie. But the story was so powerful that he was able to kind of stay in his lane, for lack of a better phrase. But was there a fear that by getting that talented and that big an actor that it almost becomes his film? But that was not a character where he had the ability to do that.
Right. Well, he was directing it, so he knew he wanted a part that really didn't carry the whole movie. Sonny carries the movie with C, and I wouldn't let anybody play Sonny but me, and that was the deal. And Bob said, I know you want to play Sonny, and that's I'll okay. So I played Sonny, and I turned down $1 million. I had $200 in the bank because all the other studios wanted my project, and they offered me. It went up from $250,000 to $500,000 to $1 million for me to say no, to walk away, and I wouldn't do it. I said no. I'm writing the screenplay, and I play Sonny. And then De Niro came in, and that's how it happened.
And now, because that story is remarkably similar, Chazz, to Stallone with Rocky. They did not want him to play Rocky. How tough is that for somebody who doesn't have the proverbial pot to pee in to turn down $1 million? How difficult? Do you wrestle with it every day?
You know what, Michael? That's a good question. The $250,000 was the hardest one to turn down because that came out of left field. I was doing the play for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, boom! I got offered $250,000, and I said, "Well, I want to play Sonny." And they said, "Well, listen, kid, you're a great actor, but." This 30 years ago, they said, but we want an A+ actor, and a lot of stars wanted to do it. Big stars all wanted to do it.
Like who?
I know Pacino wanted to do it.
Really?
And Nicholson wanted to. It was on and on. A whole bunch of people wanted to do it, but I said no.
That's such a fine line between having the stones to just fight for it yourself and making a huge mistake, right?
Yes, well, you know what? But everybody in Hollywood wanted it. Everybody.
So you knew.
It's not like one person wanted it. I was getting offers from all the studios. It takes a lot of nerve when you got $200 in the bank. But you know what? I've always believed that I had angels around me, and I believe in faith. And I believe that my mother and father gave me so much confidence. I said, you know what? I'm going to play this. And nobody's taking it away from me.
Did you ever have a talk with Stallone about it? Again, it's so remarkably similar.
Yes, I did have in fact, I was doing a movie right before Bronx Tale with Stallone, and I said to him about, hey, Sly, I want to thank you for what you did because it gives me faith, because if you do it, I see as least as possible. And he was really nice to me. He said, hang in there, kid. If you really believe it, stick to your guns. And I did.
Did you think that when you made the movie that it could translate into a musical on Broadway? Did you ever think that big?
Not at that moment, no. Not at that moment. After a few years later, I said, you know what, this could be a musical because of the themes were so powerful, racism and father, son. It was like West Side Story and Guys and Dolls smashed into one. It had all the elements I thought of a great musical.
And unfortunately, it is timeless because a lot of what's going on now, from when the movie was set, still applies today.
Absolutely.
So it really it ages well.
Yes.
And it makes it timeless for that reason.
Absolutely right, Don.
Yeah.
And he says, Sonny says, is it better to choose love or fear? That's the choice you have to make sometimes in life. It's a difficult choice.
All right, so now you're going into the role beginning May 24th, and I want to get this right. You're going to perform Tuesdays at 7, Wednesday at 2 and 7, Thursday is at 7, and Fridays at 8, and then Nick Cordero, who's won a Tony Award, it was a Tony Award nominee, will play the role of Sonny on Saturday and Sunday, right?
Right. Nick was off doing a movie, now he's playing, and in fact, Nick is leaving this Saturday and Sunday. This will be his last day, and we'll see what happens. I might step in, and we'll see, I might do the whole performances. We'll see.
How grueling is it? I can imagine Broadway has to be grueling, especially the Wednesdays when you're doing both shows.
It is, but when you have a love for it, it's like you, Michael, like you guys here. You sit here for 3-4 hours, it's nothing to you. It's the same thing with me. I just love doing it. It's my life.
How much is Sonny just in you? Like that character, how close is it to you, and how easy is it to turn it on again to do this?
Oh, well, I did the one-man. I've been doing the one-man show for almost 30 years. So
it's always kind of...
I could do it. I could stand up right now and do it for you. It'd be like, you know what I mean? It's right there. Yeah. Sonny is easy, my father. In the one-man show, I play 18 characters. I did all 18 parts.
Wow. That's crazy.
And then 2 years later, you're in Usual Suspects, which is one of the most unbelievable plot twists
Great
of all
movie.
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always often wondered, were you guys in on it? Did you know as you were making the film who Kaiser Sose was?
We were all... We assumed, even at the end, we read it, but Gabriel Byrne still, to this day, thinks he's Kaiser Sose. Till this day, he goes, no. I was Kaiser Sose. He goes, Verbal Kint that was like a red herring. Till this day, he thinks he was Kaiser Sose. We go, Gabriel, give it up. You weren't Kaiser. Give it.
What about the grow on that movie? Because if I recall, and I was young, but if I recall, it became a big deal as time went on. It felt like more of a word-of-mouth movie, where like it came out to some fanfare, but as time went on, that movie became a classic.
It was a big hit when it did come out, but it became like this just classic as years went on. Yes.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. I'm sorry I didn't prepare you for this.
Yeah, it's all right.
Any was Kevin Spacey, in your experience, a good guy? Seemed like a normal guy at the time?
Absolutely a great guy. I did 2 movies with Kevin. I did Usual Suspects, and I did Hurly Burly. One of the great actors I've ever worked with.
Yeah, and that was the breakout, was Usual Suspects,
yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
That was the beginning.
He won the Academy Award for that.
And how old were you when you did A Bronx Tale?
I was 38.
38 years old. And that's interesting because you keep calling yourself kid, right? I'm 38 years old.
Yeah.
So at that time, though, while 38 is young,
yes.
How long had you already been grinding sort of in Hollywood waiting to get this to happen?
I would say about 8 years.
Okay.
About 8 years in New York and, back and forth. And then finally I just said, look, if they won't give me a great part, I'll write one myself. And I sat down and I wrote about this killing that I saw when I was a kid and the relationships that I had with this guy, Sonny, the Wise Guys.
Now, you also played a role in Modern Family, and people look at you and you always play the tough guy.
Yeah.
And in Modern Family, you're kind of a sweetheart. Do you like playing that role?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up, I was with the New York comedy players in the 70s, so I grew up with comedy, but I got known for these very tough, heavy roles. So when I had a chance to do Modern Family, I loved that. That was great.
That was a recurring role for the last 7 years.
Yeah. That's been great.
All right. This is the tough question, though. Is Sofia Vergara as attractive in person as she is on screen?
More.
Really?
More. Oh, my God. Yeah, she's just absolutely stunning and beautiful. When I walked into the trailer, when we were doing makeup, I just walked in and, man, she could take your breath away. She really can. She's beautiful.
Wow.
Really beautiful. And her husband... husband is
he's good looking too.
He's better looking than she is. I mean, you look at these two, you go, oh my God, what kind of child they're gonna have.
Are you watching any shows right now? It's sort of a glorious time for television with the Netflix shows, the Showtime shows. Are you invested in anything?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I just been so busy doing working in the show. I haven't, but there's some wonderful shows on television.
Yeah.
Cable is the place to go.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite actor working right now and favorite actress?
Well, Gary Oldman is one, and Tom Hardy is another one. I worked with Tom Hardy. I did a movie with him called Legends in England, and he's just, wow, he's a brilliant young actor, man. He really is. He's really great.
We're talking with Chazz Palminteri, but I just want to break in with this. It's being reported that Sandy Alderson is taking an immediate leave of absence from the Mets to address his personal health. John Ricco, J.P. Ricciardi, and Omar Minaya will split the role in his absence. He says his prognosis to recover from a relapse of cancer is good. I feel badly that we've had the season that we've had to date. I feel personally responsible for the results we've had. And Ricciardi, Ricco, and Minaya will take a hard and fresh look at the team and where to go from here.
Well, way more important than baseball, so
Absolutely.
you wish him nothing but the best of luck with that. And so, listen, he's been beat up quite a bit with the way the Mets are playing, but this is so much more important.
Yeah, he's not thinking about that now.
No, absolutely, and want to wish him the best of luck. But you had a chance to be on film, stage, television.
Yes.
So is acting, or is there a different way to go about it depending on the medium?
Yeah, it's a different style. Each three is different styles.
Yeah.
The main thing is to be real and to be in the moment. If you're real and honest, it'll translate. It's altogether different. Film, it's much more in the camera. It's much more done more subtly. On stage, you can be bigger. You could have different intonations. You can move with your hands. And in sitcoms, you could be sometimes as big as you want if it's a real comedy and get away with it as long as you're real.
Right.
As long as you're real. That's the main thing.
Have you been back to the old neighborhood?
I go back once a month. I go shopping there once a month. I go to the four best stores. In fact, they're in the play. If you look on the stage, you'll see the set is 4 stores. Madonna Bakery, Gino's Pastry, Bugatti Raviolis, and Mike's Deli. They're there right now.
Still there?
Still there. They've been there 80 years.
Kay, I wanted to ask, how often do you go back and go shopping there? Because Chazz is there once a month.
Well, I go back, honestly, I didn't grow up right there, but that's Little Italy next to Fordham.
Yes.
And whenever I go to a basketball game, I always have dinner at one of the Italian restaurants.
I'd like to set up a date for the two of you to go to the Bronx together. I'm going to work on this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, go there with me. It's pretty crazy. No, it's
that would
pretty
be cool.
It's amazing. A lot of people go see they go to the Bronx. They come to the Bronx. They go to one of the stores. Then they go to see the show. Then after the show, they go to my restaurant. I have a restaurant, Chazz Palminteri, is 3 blocks away from the play, 30 West 46th Street. So they see me. After they see the show, sometimes they'll see me at my restaurant.
Is that a usual move for you? After the show, go have a drink or whatever at the restaurant?
Yeah. Or before I stop by.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
So if your set takes you away, California, overseas, how do you get to watch the Yankees? Are there other actors that you get together and watch the Yankees with?
Yeah, I try. I get on YouTube. I get on my computer. I'm a diehard. I'm just like when the Yankees lost 4 straight to Boston. Remember that time? I didn't get out of bed.
Remember it? I'll never forget it.
I didn't get out of bed for 3 days. It was serious.
But you have to admit, you've suffered very little with this team.
Yes. Well, I had some Horace Clarke years, those years back then, but it was rough. Nothing against Horace, but those were rough teams. Those were rough times.
But at least you had Bobby Mercer back then.
I had Bobby Mercer, great Bobby Mercer, God rest his soul, who I loved. But I'm really excited about this team. Listen, I think we should bring up some of these young kids on AAA, Michael. Instead of going out and getting a pitcher right now. Let's try this guy Sheffield, and that other guy Chance Abreu, his name is, I think. These guys, they throw 100 miles an hour. Why not try them out before? You never know.
Well, especially considering it seems like everyone they bring up to this team can play.
Exactly. So, I don't know. We do need a pitcher, so I would try one of these guys before we go out there and spend some money.
Well, absolutely. That's why they're trying out Loaizaga and Herman, and as Chazz mentioned, there's a lot of other guys down there, too. Now, again, we want to remind everybody, beginning May, so he's doing it now, beginning May 24th. He's doing it now. He is playing one of the lead roles. He's playing Sonny, obviously, in A Bronx Tale, the new musical on Broadway. So we love that you came in and talked to us. Really did, Chazz.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, best of luck.
Thank you. God bless.
I'm going to come by and see it, and then I'm going to go eat at your restaurant.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
All right. Thank you very much.